War. War never changes.
Fallout has become somewhat of the poster child for the nuclear post-apocalyptic role-playing genre. Chances are, if you were born any time after the early 90s, when someone mentions a post-nuclear apocalypse, your first thoughts are probably of blue jumpsuits, power armour, and German shepherds. And after being a successful video game franchise for over 2 decades now, it was only a matter of time before the beloved series got the live-action TV treatment. And while live-action adaptations of video games are often a death sentence, the Fallout series has actually been a huge success, settling in at around the 90% range for both audiences and critics on Rotten Tomatoes. And after watching it for myself, I've got to say, I get the hype. It's a good show in its own merit, yes, but if you're a Fallout fan coming into the show, I think you'll be impressed by not only how faithful it is, but how much Amazon clearly did their homework, and after finishing the season finale, I was itching to get back into the wasteland. The only question was, well, where do I go? I've platinumed Fallout 4 and done all the DLCs countless times now. I've played 3 to death in my youth and recently replayed it again a few months back, and well, it hasn't exactly aged gracefully. I'd like to keep that one as a happy memory. New Vegas, while still a great game and an obvious choice given the setup at the end of the season finale, it wouldn't give me that Vault Dweller going into the wasteland for the first time experience I was craving. And as for 76...
it allows us to have 16 times the detail.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Yes, I've heard it's good now, but I'm one of those idiots who pre-ordered the Power Armor edition, played it at launch, and forced myself to try and get my money's worth over the span of a couple of months before giving up on it. So, not today. Instead, I decided to boldly go where I have never gone before, and play the original Fallout 1 from 1997. Despite having been a fan of this franchise for about 15 years now, I have never actually gone back to see where it all started. So I used this as the perfect excuse to finally try Fallout 1 for the first time, and how was it? It was awesome! Yes, if like me you're playing this game for the first time in 2024, then you need to accept that this game came out in 1997, so it's not exactly got good graphics, the gameplay has aged and is frankly a little tedious in parts, but if you can look past all of that, if you can get over things like simple purchases taking several minutes and visuals that, while for the time were probably impressive, are low quality pixelated JPEG slideshows by our current standards, then yes, even in the year 2024, Fallout is a great time. The setup is simple. You're a Vault Dweller from Vault 13 and the Vault's water chip has broken, meaning the Vault only has a finite supply of water remaining and you have been chosen by the Overseer to go out into the wasteland and find another one. The water chip, by the way, was perfectly recreated in the live action show. Irrelevant to today's video, yes, but I just wanted to point out and say fair play to the showrunners and prop masters because they clearly did their homework all the way back from the beginning. And that's pretty much it to start off with. Yes, once you get the chip and you get thrown into a much bigger story involving the creation of the super mutants and what is possibly now my favourite Fallout antagonist of all time in The Master.
The Unity will bring about the Master Race.
Master!
One able to survive, or even
Thrive.
in the wasteland. As long as there are differences, we will
Tear ourselves apart!
fighting each other. We need one race,
Race!
one goal,
Goal!
one people to move forward to our destiny.
But it's clear the seeds of what makes a Fallout game Fallout can be traced right back to the OG. You never start out on a mission to be the saviour of the wasteland. You just want water for your people and get thrown into this crazy adventure, which eventually paved the way for things like you just want to find your dad, then end up taking on the Enclave and making purified water for all. You just want revenge on that guy that tried to kill you, and now you rule New Vegas and Nevada after defeating Caesar and overthrowing the house, and you just want to find your son, and now you're taking down the Institute and their army of synthetic robots. The blueprints were here all along that a Fallout protagonist's mission is never to save the world, it's just something they get forced into along the way. Now, moving on to the actual gameplay, first off, this game is brutal. No, not in the Dark Souls sense of brutal, but in the games really did not give a shit back in the 90s sense. There's no autosaving at all, so having to regularly manually save or else be forced to potentially replay hours of gameplay for a simple mistake or a death. No quest markers, so having to really pay attention every time you took on a side quest, or even the main quests for that matter. Find the water chip. Okay, where do I go? Dunno. Try this place here. It won't be there, but just keep looking till you find something. No sense of enemy levels, so when you start the game and your first mission is to take out some rad scorpions with nothing but a 10mm pistol, you've got no way of knowing if you're underprepared, overprepared before being met with this screen.
Your bones are scraped clean by the desolate wind. Your vault will now surely die, as you have.
Which you will be seeing a lot of. Speaking of those rad scorpions, the same side quest addiction is still very present here. Once I arrived in Shady Sands for the first time, the first thing I did was take out their rad scorpion problem, and then when I got back, I heard they had a raider problem, and they'd kidnapped the mayor's daughter. So, I went to rescue the daughter from the raiders. The first thing I did in Junktown was talk to every NPC I could find, get a good feel of what everyone was about, so I'd know just whose side I'd want to take in the inevitable side quest war to come. When I eventually got to the Brotherhood of Steel, first thing they said was,
Well, I talked to the High Elder and he said that not just anyone can join. He said you have to complete a quest first.
and I was thrilled to do it. Whenever I spoke to an NPC and they had an odd job for me, I was always beyond happy to get more, and the way they all actually shape how the world works and how the story goes. While standard for us in modern day, this must have been like something else back then. But the side quests and story aren't the only place where the blueprints have always been, oh no. The sound design has remained surprisingly true to its roots along the way. While obviously being refined over the years, even the iconic War Never Changes is still there and still voiced by a much younger Ron Perlman.
War never changes.
For a game to come out in 1997 and still remain so true to its roots even after changing hands of ownership over the years, it just shows how Fallout has always known exactly what it is and never tried to be anything else. Except for that time it tried to become an online survival game, Todd!
All of this just works.
While travelling the wasteland isn't the same as it is in modern games, it still offers you the same random encounters the series has become famous for at this point. From talking cows, to dinosaur footprints, crashed UFOs, and even a sighting of the TARDIS from Doctor Who. And all done through what I found was a very charming point-and-click map travel system that was very reminiscent of the Indiana Jones travel sequences. You still get random encounters with enemies as a way of keeping you busy and XP farming, but these event encounters were something I eventually went out of my way for, just trying to find more of them, and I was never disappointed in just how out there and wacky they were, just like the encounters I've come to love in the modern games. Choices also matter, just as much here as they do in every other game, and not just choices, but the way you play. I was never locked off to just a straight up, you've played as the good guy, so here's the good guy option, style of story. I was always offered the chance to be evil, if I wanted, or continue on my path as the hero, or even just forget negotiation altogether, just straight up kill any NPC that I wanted to. And every choice I made led to the ending cutscene, showing off how the world was left in my absence, but even after doing all I could find in my first playthrough, it was still talking about areas and side stories that I hadn't encountered anywhere, and ones I will definitely be going back for in a second playthrough to see exactly what I missed out on.
The mutant armies, led into battle by the fierce super mutants, destroy the followers of the apocalypse. Barely human carrion feeders pick over the followers' remains.
Another mainstay of the series is your character's progression. Remember when I said you'd be seeing this screen a lot at the start of the video? Well, that's in the first 50 to 60% of the game. Once you enter that final act, assuming you've done your side questing and exploring and grinding, you're essentially unkillable at this point. By the end, I had the best weapon in the game with the alien blaster and the best armour with the upgraded power armour. And I was so skilled with my weapon through levelling up the right stats that I practically one-shot most endgame enemies while they could barely even touch me. The most sacred of all Fallout mainstays. We start out fearing the mighty Raider and finish off as overpowered as a 500 kg bomb. However, it's not all glowing praise for this game. There are definitely some areas of tedium and where the game shows its age a bit. But as I said in the beginning, this is something you can get over, and frankly you really need to accept going into such an old game for the first time. I also don't know if maybe there are ways around these things, as, like I said before, games from the 90s just didn't care. It just doesn't tell you how to do anything and you have to figure it all out for yourself. But after completing the game, experimenting with controls throughout my playthrough and spending a solid 25 hours in this game, there were some issues I was just not able to overcome. For example, the combat. It's a very basic turn-based combat system, and while I still enjoy playing turn-based games to this day, this is definitely an area that shows its age. There's no combat music, no special moves or abilities, just click at what you want to attack or use VATS to be slightly more accurate, and then hope for the best before letting the enemy take their turn. Simple things like movement, picking up items and changing up your inventory mid-combat use so much action points that there's just little to no reward in doing anything but your basic attack, hoping for the best, and again waiting for the enemy to finish their turn. Trading was also a real pain, with caps only going up to 999 whenever you exchange them, which is all well and good for the smaller purchases at the beginning of the game, but once you reach the end and you're making sales or purchases in the thousands, it can be so long and tedious just having to constantly click and drag again and again and again. The companion system has also come a long way, clearly. There's no way of properly kitting them out. You need to barter or reverse steal better weapons onto them with the appropriate ammo, then specifically tell them, use your best weapon next time. You can give them all the stim packs in the wasteland and sometimes they still won't even use them. Even when they're on death's door, sometimes the friendly AI would just rather shoot, miss, instead of actually healing when they've only got a couple of HP left. And things like armour that you have no control of, as they can't even wear any. By the end game, I found my companions sometimes dying from a single shot at full health, while I was just tanking every other shot for 0 damage. So once you get into the final act of the game, they can die really easily. Especially Dogmeat, who I tried so hard to save in my playthrough, but I just couldn't get him to survive the military base. It was only when I was looking for a way to do so online that I read he canonically dies at the military base. So I finally accepted it and let the goodest boy in the wasteland rest in pieces. Why didn't we invent the stay boy button until 1998, god damn it! All in all though, the good massively outweighs the bad for me on this one. I can quite honestly say that if you can get over the graphics and the older style of gameplay, you already enjoy Fallout or RPGs for that matter, and have always wondered if maybe you should give that first game a chance. It is 100% worth it in the year 2024. I dove into the Wasteland's origin to see where it all began, and my only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Anyway guys, that's it for the first episode of Retro Rollback. What other retro games from the past would you like to see us cover on the channel? What's your favourite game in the Fallout franchise? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and here to play us out is Second the Ink Spots, playing what's become the anthem of the Wasteland with some of my favourite moments of my first playthrough of Fallout 1. Take it away, me!
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame.
I'm not that kind of girl, mister. Go find a Brahmers.
In my heart I have but one desire,
I rather hope you
and that one is you. No other will do. I've lost all ambition.
You have no
worldly
idea
acclaim.
how sorry I am to send
just
you
want
back
to
out.
be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same,
This is great.
I'll have
Hang on while I
reached
open the door.
goal I'm dreaming of. Believe me, I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
I don't want to set the world on fire, honey. I love you too much. I just want to start
I'm quite impressed.
a great big flame
My spies told me you were
down
resourceful.
in your heart. You see, way down inside of me, darling, I have only one desire. And that one desire is you. And I know nobody else ain't gonna do. I've lost all ambition for worldly acclaim. I just wanna be the one you love. And with your admission that you feel the same, I'll have reached the goal I'm dreaming of.
So what shall it be? Do you join the unit?
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.